was at the library the other day, I had a bit of inspiration and I thought, what if I have a toddler pick my cookbook? So the book that was chosen is The Best of Casual Pizza Oven Cooking, Pizzeria by Evan Kleiman. Now, it's going to shock you. I don't have a pizza oven. It talks about using a pizza stone. I don't have a pizza stone. So, yay! First up is I gotta make the dough. So, the dough I need is gonna be the Neapolitan pizza dough. So, let's get into that. Whee! The first thing I did was put a 1/4 cup of lukewarm water in a bowl, and the reason it's lukewarm is because I don't like to take cold baths, so I'm going to give my yeast a lukewarm bath. Then I added in 1/2 tablespoon of active dry yeast. I didn't give it any food because the recipe said no sugar, so it's going to starve for 10 minutes while it soaks. So it's 10 minutes later, and I don't think this looks any different than when I left it before. But we're gonna go on ahead. Then I added 1½ tablespoons of oil, 1/2 cup of cold water, and it's cold because presumably my yeast is dead now, so what difference does it make? Then I added in 1/2 cup of flour and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And then you whisk until smooth. Then, as the recipe directed, I added in the remaining 1 1/3 cup of flour, 1/2 cup at a time. And don't judge my math, I was just doing what I was told. So now I need this for 10 minutes. So here goes nothing. Now we wait for 15 minutes. 15 minutes are up. It worked. Okay. So I'm supposed to divide it into, oh dear. Oh man. Oops. Okay. Well, anyways. 2 sections. This texture here is making me nervous that it's not kneaded thoroughly enough because it keeps breaking. But it says only to do it for 8 to 10 minutes, and I did it for like 13, 14 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and dust it. Roll it in some flour. And let it sit in the fridge overnight. And then this one, I'm just gonna store it in the freezer after I need it. Now I realize this is a total cliffhanger and you're dying to see how that dough turned out, but it's time to make our toppings. The first thing I did was overheat the oil in the wok so it was smoking by the time I added my Italian sausage. Please don't do that. Be safe. Be smarter than me. And then I cooked it all the way through and put it on paper towels so it would soak up the extra grease while it cooled down. Then, due to the lack of a pizza stone, I put my pizza pan in the oven and let that heat up while I got the rest of the pizza ready. Then it was time for some friendly mushrooms. I washed and cut up a whole cup of them. Then I chopped up an arbitrary amount of onions. I tried my best to caramelize my onions before I added in my mushrooms, salt and pepper, and cooked everything until it was nice and floppy. The next step is to flour your pizza peel. So here's my pizza peel. I'm gonna throw some flour on that bad boy. Okay, there's my pizza peel, and I'm gonna do a separate pizza working station because I don't wanna mess with that flour. I want that to be there when I go to bake it. Now here's the dough chilled overnight, and that came out way easier than I thought it might. So, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is how this is supposed to go. So it looks like it wasn't supposed to dry out like this. I should have gone ahead and just covered this with the saran wrap like I thought to do, but then I didn't. So, you know, live and learn.
I'm doing it.
Doing it?
I'm making pizza too.
Great. Take this with my fingertips. And then it was time to do the most daredevil thing I have ever done in cooking, and spin my pizza dough. And then try to stretch it out and make it flop and hang, because I'm not good at spinning pizza dough. Go figure. And then finally put it to rest on my quote-unquote pizza paddle. So the recipe doesn't call for any sauce, but I didn't have time. Like the herb. I didn't have the herb time. So I'm gonna go ahead and put sauce on anyways. I just really want pizza sauce. I spread around my sauce, and then I started to spread around my mushrooms, but I got a little bit distracted by what was going on next to me.
Yeah, this.
Are you getting all dusty? How's that flour coming? I finished spreading out the mushrooms, then added the sausage and cheese. It was then time to take the pizza stone out of the oven, put the pizza peel, paddle, whatever it's called, and all, onto the pizza stone and slide it in, praying that this would work. Now with that in the oven, it's time to start cleaning up my mess. Time for the moment of truth. After a long and arduous battle, I finally managed to separate my pizza from my pizza peel. Ta-da! I'm gonna cut it with scissors. I should have cut it before I put it on the plate. I don't want to ruin my plate, so here goes. Obviously the crust has a lot of problems, but it looks delicious. So here goes. So the crust, it has a little bit of a crunch to it, but it's still kind of chewy. So it's not like you're eating off a cracker, but it's not soggy. So when I put it on the bottom rack, I was afraid that it was gonna basically just turn it into a cracker. It didn't do that. Everything's good. This is a really good pizza. Cheers. So today we don't have any rice, which means that all of the things I have prepared for this week aren't gonna work. So I'm gonna go ahead and make pizza, and I'm gonna give that dough a second round because I realized that my reasons for liking it last time was that I expected it to just be absolutely terrible. It wasn't terrible, but I'm not sure if it was great. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it again today. Here it goes. All right. Now the dough shouldn't stick, and I can cover it with a damp towel without the towel sticking to the dough. Since I was using frozen dough this time, instead of letting it rise overnight, I needed to let it rise at room temperature for 2 hours. Damp towel going over top. And by damp, I mean absolutely soaking wet. There you go. So hopefully that stays moist and rises and doesn't dry out and crack like the other one. Time to cook up some toppings. I fried up my spinach in butter with garlic powder. And now it's time to put our pizza stone back in the oven. And it looks slimy. I don't think it's much bigger than when it went back in, but this is what the directions said to do. Let's see, what's the temperature in here? It spent 2 hours at 76 degrees, so that's not room temperature. This is really slimy. And still frozen a little bit in the middle. Oh dear. Well, not cracked. I'll give it that. Sticking to me. Ah. With the pizza dough sufficiently stretched, it was then time to plug up the holes and apply the Alfredo sauce. This time I put the cheese down first before the toppings because I'm boring and I do things the traditional way. We're very sophisticated people, so we're using canned tomatoes and chicken.
Chicken, tomatoes, spinach. I did it.
Time for Karen to come out of the oven and the pizza to go in. This looks way better than the first time. There's no cracking. It's actually a nice golden color. So I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic. So we'll see how it goes. Let's just take a second to appreciate the beautiful golden brown bottom of this crust. That's really good. I got a whole mouthful of tomato. I think I put too much tomato on it, but it's really good. It's light, it's fluffy, it's not so chewy as it was last time, so I am satisfied. Good pizza.